Hello, everybody. Welcome to Cryptids and Critters Paranormal. I'm your host, the Dooster. It is 40 degrees outside with gusty winds blowing today, and ground is totally saturated. I mean, it's a little misting rain or whatever, but there's nowhere for the water to soak in. The ground is holding all it possibly can, so any rain we get is going to be runoff. And like I said, it's going to make a muddy mess everywhere. So I guess I'll be staying inside today and working on a couple of projects, and maybe do another video or two today before Sunday. Excuse me. But anyway, today I want to tell you about one of my early childhood heroes. Of course, my greatest hero was my dad. That just goes without being said. But coming in a close second was my Uncle John. His name was John Bryant Hulsey. He was born in September of 1888. And when my grandfather, Chance Edwards, passed away in 1932, Uncle John stepped up and took my grandmother and my dad in to raise. And he raised them. He raised them on the farm, Of course, grandmother couldn't do too much on the farm. She cooked around the house and all, but she was crippled. She couldn't get around too awful good as far as working out in the fields. But she kept the house and cooked the meals and things like that. Excuse me. So anyway, because Uncle John was born in 1888. He was a little man. He wasn't very tall. He may have been 5'2", maybe 5'3", or something in that. He always wore just plain old overalls, old Brogan boots. Most time he had on a long sleeve flannel shirt year round. And he always wore this brown felt hat. And he just, like I said, he was a character. He did like to drink every once in a while. When he'd go to town on a Saturday night or whatever, it was usually when he come back, he was pretty well lit. He packed an old 32 caliber revolver in his pocket most of the time, and an old hawkbill knife, hawkbill knife. And he was quite a character. He did have some language that would actually make an embarrass a sailor. Actually, like I said, he was actually my hero. He taught me how to drive a tractor, things like that. He let us ride on the back of the drag behind the disc. So he disced the fields up and stuff. We rode on the tractor with him pretty regular. I know it's not a safe thing for kids to be on a tractor, but anyway, that's the way it was back then. But anyway, like I said, he taught me how to drive a tractor, things like that. And like I said, he was one of my heroes. The day I want to tell you about Uncle John occurred on Friday, November 20th, 1959. I was actually 7 years old. And I remember this like it was yesterday. I had gone to school that day. Me and my sister had caught the bus that morning and went to school. Our lane that we walked up from the house up to where we caught the school bus at was a little over a quarter of a mile. And there was an old tobacco barn up there on the corner that we usually, if they were firing tobacco or something like that, or in there stripping tobacco or working, we'd usually go in there and wait till the bus run to keep out of the cold weather. But anyway, that morning we had caught the bus and went to school. My little brother, he wasn't old enough to go to school yet, Terry. So he was staying with my aunt and uncle, Richard and Mary Brooks. And they was keeping him while Mom and Daddy worked. They both worked at the Ainsworth plant there in Springfield. Worked day shift. And anyway, like I said, the day was Friday, November 20th, 1959. That day, my sister had gone to spend the night with Vicky Nash, who lived just up the road from us. And I got off the school bus alone. Anyway, so and it was kind of odd. Our collie dog actually, Daisy was actually Uncle John's dog, but Daisy was standing there waiting for me to get off the school bus, and she was barking and carrying on, and it was kind of unnerving because I'd never seen her act that way before. She led us. She actually, when I got off the bus, she grabbed my coat sleeve and was dragging me toward the house. And that scared me because I'd heard about these dogs having rabies and things like that as long as I could remember, In fact, Daddy had put down three of our dogs that had developed rabies and caught rabies. And as far as I know, none of our animals were ever vaccinated against rabies. So it's just going to happen pretty regular. But anyway, she grabbed me by the coat sleeve, was dragging me down toward the house. And it scared me. And I pulled away from her. And finally got ahead of her a little bit. Well, she ran up behind me and grabbed me by the other sleeve and was trying to lead me down the road. And like I said, once again, I got away from her, But she was pretty adamant. She was going to lead me somewhere, and I had no idea what was going on at the time. So anyway, I get down to where our driveway came off of the road. I got away from her, and I ran as fast as I could to the house. Run up the porch steps and went inside the house. Daisy was right behind me, and she tried to get into the screen door through the screen door, and I finally closed the old big wooden door inside the house and latched it, and where she couldn't get in. But she was trying her best to get in that house, and it scared me. I didn't know what was going on. It scared me. So anyway, she's there a few minutes, and she ran off down through the field, down by the tobacco barn, and ran off across the field. I was watching her out the window to see where she was going. Well, she was running back toward the back side of the farm. So, like I said, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't even put two and two together. So in the meantime, there's a car pulled up in the driveway. It was a maroon-colored 1940 Ford. It was driven by our neighbor, lived at the other end of the lane, Lovell Cook. Well, he came pick me up. Him and his wife come pick me up and took me up to their house and told me that my mother and father was having to work a little bit late, and they called him, and he was going to keep me there at his house until they stopped by to pick me up because it was going to be late when they got home. So I went along with that, went to the house, and maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours later, something like that, Mom and Dad showed up, and that's when I found out that Uncle John had been killed on the tractor. In fact, that's where Daisy was trying to drag me down to, was where he was at. And I thank God to this day that I did not go down that way. I don't know if I could have handled it or not. But anyway, the way I understand it, he was on his little red belly Ford, the tractor we had, and he was plowing, and he actually backed up on the edge of a tree trunk, and he had turned the tractor over on him, and it caught his head between the tire and the fender of the tractor. I reckon just massive, head injuries. There's no way he could live through it. And in fact, there was a rumor going around that he may have even had a heart attack and wasn't even alive, when this happened, But anyway, he'd been on a tractor for a while, and he knew what he was doing. So I don't know I don't know what happened, but anyway, it ended up tractor turned over on him, and that's where Daisy was trying to drag me down to, trying to get me to go down that way to help him, I guess. I don't know what I would have done if I had went down there. Here I was only 7 years old, and I don't know if I could ever handle witnessing something like that, But anyway, they come and got me, took me up there. Daddy and them come got me, told me what happened, Then I remember I just broke down, I just couldn't handle it, And then I found out later on when I was talking to him that Daisy had actually was there guarding his body, would not let anybody around him. In fact, the neighbor down the road, he actually Mr. Dick Arnett, he actually drove down that way. And this road it was on was a very, very, very lightly traveled, deeply rutted road that you had to ford a creek to get across. And nobody had been on that road in a good while. And just so happened that day that Mr. Arnett decided that he was going to take that route for some reason. So he took that route home. That's when he saw the tractor. Who knows how long it had been before they found Uncle John before, if he hadn't went that way. But anyway, they couldn't get close. They couldn't get close to Uncle John. Daisy wouldn't let them. Finally, Mr. Arnett was able to get her by the collar and hold her back to where they could get Uncle John's body removed from a tractor. And he says that they had even talked about somebody just shooting her, just to kill her, where they could get to his body, Which I'm just glad he was there and was able to, that she trusted him enough that she went to him, But that's what she was trying to get me down there for, was that, I mean, it was very traumatic, for a 7-year-old, something like that to happen, It's we ended up Uncle John's brothers and sisters, 2 sisters especially, decided they wanted their cut of the estate. And Daddy had plans of farming the place, selling some of the timber off the place to pay for it. And I think it was like 43 acres or something like that. But anyway, it had a lot of good standing timber on it. But anyway, he was planning on doing that and paying for the place. Well, they wanted their money and wanted it quicker than what he could pay them, their part of the estate. So anyway, Chancery Court put the farm up for auction. They sold all the farm equipment, the tractor, the combine, the trucks, all the farm equipment, and sold the property. And so anyway, we ended up having to move from the farm. We moved to White House after that. But that home place over there is just, it's home to me. I'd love to move back over there again. It just so happened my cousin owns it now, so it's still kind of in the family, but it's nothing like it would have been if one of my family members, close family members, had have owned it. But anyway, that was the story of that. Daisy was. She was a wonderful dog. She was a kind of a little farm collie. It wasn't a purebred collie, but she was something else. My mother and father couldn't even spank us when Daisy was around. They had to take us in the house or make sure Daisy was put up in the garage or in the shop or something maybe before they could spank us, because she wouldn't let them. She'd attack them, left and right. But anyway, we Daisy ended up passing away at age 17, and she had come in heat that one last time, and we had her put up in a barn, and one of the neighbor's dogs that was able to dig into the barn, and he got her pregnant. But anyway, she died having puppies at age 17. That's a long time for a dog having puppies, But Daisy was and I thought the world of that dog. I think the world of her. But anyway, I'm going to have to quit before I start crying about her now. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. It was kind of odd that she acted that way, that day that he got killed. And like I said, I thank God that I wasn't able to get down there and witness Uncle John being pinned under that tractor. I just don't know how it would have affected me today. I don't know. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this. It wasn't a very cheerful tale to tell, but I wanted to get the word out there. And if you like my channel, subscribe, share it with your friends. And I know this didn't have too much to do with the paranormal except for the way the dog was acting, so something was telling her what to do. But anyway, like I said, I hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel. Share it with your friends. Give me a like. And again, this is the Dooster with Cryptids and Critters Paranormal. And thank you for watching, and have a nice day. We'll catch you next time.